Hey guys, what's up? My name's Ines. I write kissing books. It's October. Do you know what that means? It's Preptober month. October is the month before November, shocker. But more importantly, October is the month that we prep for November's National Writing Month, where we all get together and write 1,667 words a day. Have you done this? Well, this year, I'm going to make sure that I'm doing this smarter and not harder by doing my prep work. And the first thing that I'm going to do with my prep work is I'm going to do some data research. I'm going to mine the bestseller chart to make sure that I'm writing something that readers actually want to read. For this November, I'm going to be writing a brand new contemporary romance under my NS pen name. And I want to make sure that I set this book up for the most success that it can possibly have when it gets released. To do that, I start to mine the bestsellers list. Now, there's many kinds of bestsellers lists. We can look at the New York Times. We can look at the USA Today, although honestly, they're kind of pay to play right now, and they're not necessarily representative of what readers are actually going out and buying. The best bestsellers list, in my opinion, are the retailers like Barnes & Noble's bestsellers list. Go to barnesandnoble.com, look at the top 100 books. Same with Apple Books, same with Google Play and Kobo. But the best list, which also happens to be a search engine, and also happens to be the number one bookstore in the world, is Amazon. So before we go to Amazon, I want to show you the free download that I've got prepared for you. This is my market research data mining sheet. You can go to ineswrites.com/data mining in order to download this sheet and work along with me on the book that you are prepping to write for November. The first thing that we fill out on the market research data mining sheet is our pen name. My name's Ines. Now, Ines is a pen name, but Ines writes paranormal romance mostly. And I've started to write contemporary small town romance, which is different than having werewolves and dragons and bears be a love interest. So I decided I need to make sure to split these two pen names because it's going to be two very different audiences. So the pen name that I'm going to write here is N.S. Johnson. My genre is romance. Duh, I write kissing books. But now you want to think about your sub genre. And for this, I know that I'm writing contemporary romance because there's also historical romance, there's science fiction romance. I could go on and on. But then under contemporary romance, there's a couple of things that I want to think about too. You want to start thinking about who the characters you're creating, who they are, what they do. My heroes are military heroes. They live in a town that's very multicultural, and a lot of romances within the town are interracial. Each one of these romances is a fairy tale retelling. So the story is set up in Grimm Valley because I wanted to retell all the Grimm fairy tales. So my first book, Grimm Prince, is all about the descendant of the Grimm brothers coming back to reclaim their house. The second book, Wicked Charmer, is a retelling of Cinderella and Prince Charming. And the third book, which I'm going to be working on for this November, is called Beautiful Beast. I bet you can guess what that one is about. But one of the things that I know is that Amazon has made changes, as they do, and now I can only have 3 categories. So knowing my genre and my subgenre, I'm going to go over to Amazon and I'm going to start to do my mining of the bestsellers list. So here we are on Amazon.com. We're in the US store. If you're in a different country, you want to make sure that you're looking at that store. So Amazon.uk, Amazon.de for Germany. But I'm here in the US, so I'm on Amazon.com. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to find the bestsellers list. And there's a couple of different ways that you can do this. You can come to the top and you see bestsellers here, or you can come to the hamburger where it says all, and you can also find the bestsellers list here. You can do it either way. But you click on bestsellers, and then we're going to go down to look at best-selling books. Now, under books, I write romance, so I'm going to go in there. Mysteries and thrillers are always up here because mysteries and thrillers and romance are the best-selling genres really that are out there. So those are going to be on the top level. If you can't find your genre on the top level list, then you probably want to go into literature and fiction, and you'll probably find it in there. But because I write romance and romance is hugely popular, I'm going to come into romance. So I'm writing. So once you come into your top level genre, there's a lot of subgenres going on here. I have a pen name that writes clean and wholesome romance. This particular romance, like I said, is contemporary romance, but contemporary romance is huge. So there's a lot of subgenres within contemporary romance. So if I were to click on this, I would get even more choices to make. So remember, I said that I'm writing contemporary romance. I said I'm writing small town romance. I said I'm writing military romance. And I also said that there's going to be a fairy tale retelling element to this. There's a lot for me to work with, but I want to stay to the top level as possible. So here I am, contemporary, and I want to start to take a look at what's going on here in contemporary. So on Amazon, Amazon will show you the top 100 selling books in a genre, and then it'll go deeper into subgenres and sometimes subgenres of books. At the top level of contemporary romance, I can see that my friend Katharina Mara is doing amazing. These are marriage of convenience, contemporary marriage of convenience romances. I know that because I know the books. So we know that we're in contemporary romance. But another thing that we want to start to take a look at is what are the subtitles of the romance. So I happen to know that Katharina Mara writes modern day marriage of convenience, and she's killing it. And then as I go and I look at these others, I see that Lorenzo is a grumpy sunshine. These are keywords. These are not necessarily a subgenre of romance, but these are tropes, repeated patterns that readers crave and they scream for them. Grumpy sunshine is a trending trope right now. So is dark mafia. That's two tropes or two keywords in one, dark and mafia, but they both deal with romances that are on the extreme side of enemies to lovers. Lucy Score is forever doing amazing, and I'm one of the very few people who have not read this book yet. I love Lucy Score books, but I haven't gotten into the Knock 'em Out books yet. So a lot of times when we see the subgenres, that's going to give us some more information. Number 7, The Pucking Wrong Guy. That's a hockey romance. Hockey romance is huge right now. There is some chatter that we think that football romance is going to make a comeback because Taylor Swift is dating. I am a soccer fan. I'm not sure who she's dating, but apparently he's a big deal. And which means that people think that football romance is going to be the next big thing. What else do we have? More Grumpy Sunshine, more Dark Mafia, Small Town Friends to, let's see what that says. Small Town Friends to Lovers, Fake Dating. Again, you see how people are putting more information for readers in the subtitles because romance readers know exactly what they want. And if you can tell them what's exactly in your book, they are going to jump on it if that is their catnip. Military reverse harem, that's two keywords, military romance and reverse harem, where there's one woman and typically 3 or more guys. Small Town Enemies to, I think that was Lovers. Yeah, Small Town Enemies to Lovers, billionaire romance. Again, this is giving us a lot of great information. So we understand what the subtitles are. We see some of the tropes in the subtitles. The next thing that you want to start to take a look at are these standalones or are these books in series? And a lot of times you can tell by what's in the parentheses. You know that Knock 'em Out is book 3. That tells you right there. And if you scroll down just a bit, you can see whether or not there's a series page. And it tells you right there, there's a series, there's things we never got, things we hid from the light, things we left behind. And Lucy is absolutely killing it. And a lot of these you're going to see are actually series. Series do really well in romance. You can see Katharina Mara, her series right now is 4 books, and she's got a 5th one on pre-order. Again, we're just looking at what's in the parentheses, and this tells us without us even having to click that these books are in series. So we can already see that in contemporary romance, it is dominated by series, not standalones. Yeah, we can keep going with this, but you can see that series are it for the win. The next thing that we want to take a look at is the page length of the books to give us that bit of information. Are readers reading shorter? Are they reading longer? And honestly, I prefer to grab the K-lytics report to tell me this. I'd like to have Alex, the statistician, tell me all that information instead of me doing calculations. Katharina is writing 500-page books. Which one was this? This was The Broken Vows. If I click on The Temporary Wife, 384 pages. If I click on the first book in her series, The Wrong Bride, 384 pages. So she's writing longer. So her first two books were about 300, 400 pages, and now she's getting longer. So that's really interesting to know. Again, these are the top bestsellers, and Kat even was number one at some point, I think yesterday. But her books are getting longer. So maybe you can take some hints from that and see that her readers, if these are your kind of readers, want longer, more that they want longer stories. You can see that her readers want longer stories. I also try to take a look at when books were published because that gives me some information too. This one was published in October of 2022. If I take a look at Lucy's book, which is 592 pages, was published not too long ago in September of 2023. If we take a look at Anna Wong's Twisted Love, this is 360 pages. This was published in 2021, and it's still killing it today. Good job, Anna. Another thing that I take a look at is I want to know, are these books in Kindle Unlimited or are they widely distributed, meaning they're also on Barnes & Noble and Apple and Google Play. And you can tell just at a glance whether they're in Kindle Unlimited or not. You can see on the top of each book here that Kindle Unlimited is dominating the contemporary romance field. So far, only 2 books are not in Kindle Unlimited. Yeah, you can see Kindle Unlimited is absolutely dominating the contemporary romance category here of the top 50 at the very least of contemporary romance. That's good to know because if you decided that maybe you wanted to be wide, remember, Amazon is the #1 bookseller in the world, so it might be a clue that a lot of the readers are here on Amazon and on Kindle Unlimited. You would have to do the same research on Barnes & Noble and on Apple and Google Play to see if there are readers there. Another thing that I like to take a look at is the price, and that you want to take a look at the price and also be thinking about the page length as well. A lot of these books are around 400, 500 pages. Cat is selling for $5.99. Lucy Score also $5.99. Nicole Fox. I bet this is book 1 out of curiosity. Nicole, this is $5.62. She probably has it on sale right now because she's selling that at $2.99. And then the book 2, she's selling for $7.99. So that's another really good thing to take a look at. Anna's books are $5.99. Really good information for you to have as you start to think about pricing your book after it's written and edited. Another thing that I take a look at as well is whether the books are traditionally published or independently published. And you know that if they're in Kindle Unlimited, there's a good chance that they're independently published. So if you're looking for the publisher, if you click on the book and then you scroll down to near the bottom of the page, under the product details, that will give you that information. That's what she said. You can pretty much assume that that is Lucy Score's publisher, but the information will be there under publisher. If it doesn't say publisher, then there's a good chance that it's an indie who didn't name their publishing imprint. While we're down here, I also take a look at item 3 on the data mining sheet, which is to list other subcategories that the book is in, and that will tell you under the bestseller rank. Remember, right now in 2023, Amazon is only allowing 3 books to be in 3 categories. So Lucy is in romantic comedy. So when you see Kindle Store, that's the ebook, and then when you see books, that's the print book, because we're here in contemporary romance. But she's also #1 in romantic comedy in both ebook and print, and she's also #2 in romantic suspense. So that gives us a lot of information about what's going on with Lucy. If we came back and we looked at Kat's book, and we see there is no publisher there. Kat's books are, she self-indie publishes her books. We see that she is #1 in contemporary fiction, contemporary romance, in both the ebook and the print book store. And that gives us that information. And the way that we would use that information, so we're in contemporary romance fiction right now. If I come to, for example, let's come to Anna Wong. And Anna is ranking in contemporary romance, but she's also ranking in multicultural and interracial romance. Knowing that I can click on this category and I can start to do the same thing. I can come in and I can do the same top 100 data mining of the books that are different in here. And you can see some of these are the same books. And then there's some that are different. Once upon a time, I'm not mad at Amazon's only allowing you in 3 categories, because once upon a time, the multicultural and interracial categories were filled with alien romances. And I love me an alien romances, but are you really multicultural or interracial? That's a debate. But yeah, I would start to do, if my books were multicultural and interracial, which they are, I would start to take a look at these books in here and do the exact same data mining. I also would take a look at what's going on with covers and look at the patterns that I'm seeing. So here we are in multicultural and interracial, and I know that Anna writes her romances can be a little dark, and you know that romances are dark when they have this huge contrast where you see there's a high contrast here with dark background and then a bright title. You see it again here. Now, Until I Get You is a hockey romance, but I wonder if this is dark. Spicy standalone novel with an obsessed, morally gray hero. Here's another way that you start to tell what's going on in a book is you start to read the blurb. And if this is your genre, then you know what keywords are going to jump out. Obsessed is dark romance. Morally gray is dark romance. Hero who falls first, that's another trope. So that's a good bit of information, but also when you take a look at that cover, you start to get the idea, I bet this is dark romance. An arranged marriage, look at how that's light and bright, and you've got rings on the covers. Another thing that I look for when I'm looking at the blurbs, we're in item 4 now on your data mining sheet, is in addition to looking at the covers and the colors and whether there's objects or people on the covers, what are the colors, or what is the contrast, I also take a look at the blurbs. And you saw how we could tell that we confirmed that a romance was dark when it used words like obsessed and morally gray hero. Well, I also make sure to look for whose point of view is the blurb in. Is it in the heroes? Is it in the heroines? What is the tense? Because that's going to give me some information too. There's some people who only read the first person point of view in a romance novel, and there's some people who are like, no, it has to be third or nothing. But you can. So if you're taking a look at the blurb and you're seeing what tense it's in, is if it's dual perspective or not, that gives you really good information. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that the book is written this way, but you can start to get hints of what's happening inside the covers. What I recommend that you do, and what I'm going to do, is spend the next few days, at least the next 5 to 10 days, and I'm going to go to Amazon each day and I'm going to fill in this worksheet. So I'm going to print out 10 of these and fill in this worksheet. My genre and subgenre are not going to change, but I'm going to see if the books are changing there, because whereas the USA Today and the New York Times only comes out once a week, the Amazon charts, the Apple book charts, the Nook book charts, these change every hour. So, and they're showing you exactly what readers are buying, exactly what they are loving. So this is real-time information to help you to make decisions about your future with your book. So I go through and I look again and again at what's in the top 100. Is it a series or standalone? I look at that page link. I look at the price. I try to find as many keywords to talk to me about what tropes are trending right now. And that starts to give me some really great direction on where to go with the book that I'm about to plot. It lets me know if my book actually belongs where I think it belongs, or if I need to put it in a different category. And when I see that something is trending, because I'm a fast writer, I can potentially jump on that trend. Now, I always stay in an evergreen genre like contemporary romance. But if I see that morally gray is trending, if I see all of a sudden that football is trending, I might put those elements in my books, because readers at this particular time period are going to jump on that, and I can highlight it in my blurb. I can highlight it in my subtitle. Maybe I highlight it on my cover. All things which can change, and it's not going to change too much of the makeup of my book. It's adding a lot of special things it's adding a lot of special things on top of what I'd already planned to do. So I hope that you take this market research data mining sheet and start to determine so that you can start to see what's trending right now. And remember, some of those books have been there for more than 2 years. So that's going to give you information about what is evergreen right now, what readers have loved over time, and they're not giving up. It becomes a balancing act trying to figure out the evergreen that's always going to be there and the trend to attract current readers' attention and turn them into superfans. That's our goal here, to get superfans to fall in love with our writing and then one-click everything that we ever write. So you've got your marching orders. Grab the data mining sheet at ineswrites.com/data mining, and I'll see you back here as we start to plot out these amazing data-driven stories that readers are absolutely going to clamor for. I'll see you then. Bye.